All right, cool. Welcome to Barre. There's the mats. There's the chair. Play your own music if you like. I have music on really, really quiet back here. It's not meant for you guys to listen to. It's meant so that I can sort of maintain some rhythm. But rhythm is not the most important thing. And that's why I don't want to emphasize in this virtual class. And I know a lot of times when I teach in studio, it's like all about rhythm and timing. But in the end, it's about technique, pulsing, range of motion, you know, when it's full range of motion versus partial range of motion. You want to try to nail all those techniques so that you can feel the correct muscles working. Okay, take water breaks when you need. This is a 45-minute class. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually ended in 45 minutes, but I always try. And then, yeah, modify any of the moves. There's no jumping here, but that doesn't mean you might not have any things that go on with your knees or hips, so you can modify. Like you don't have to lift your leg as high, that sort of thing. Okay, so yeah, if you keep your video on, I'll come over and glance your way, but again, don't feel obligated. Okay, let's get started with our warm-up. This chair is for balance, so we're never gonna pull on it, just grip it lightly. And I'm actually not gonna use the chair for the warm-up because we're gonna just be on both feet, first position on the ground. So I'm gonna reach up and over, and then to the other side. So we're gonna basically alternate. This prevents me from having to count that I did the same number on each side. So reach high, 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 and then lean over to the side to stretch those obliques. So you've probably been, well, other than Ann in the West Coast here, but most of you who are on the East Coast have probably been up for like 4 or 5 hours now, unlike me. So again, my feet are in first position. So that means my heels are apart, toes are out. So because barre is inspired by ballet, we have a lot of turned out positions, but we're also going to be in neutral position. All right, let's stay with just one side, and you might need your chair for balance. We're going to bring the elbow to the outside leg, so knee, good. So this is not a stretch anymore, but it's more of a contraction. Contraction of those obliques. Reach and lift. Give me 4 more. 3, 2, and reach out. Out. Might have a little bit of a drag back in. It's okay if your heels don't come back together every time. But here my legs are straight. So what I'm doing is warming up the hip flexors and quads, reaching to the corners of the room. Your abs want to stay braced and your chest lifted, so thinking about good posture. Okay, now I'm going to lift the leg straight forward, but with a slight bend and still that turnout. So notice my knees and toes are kind of pointing out to the corners. And you should feel your inner thighs. Warm it up here. 8 more. It's like you're kicking a soccer ball with your instep. 4, 3. Good, and then hip circles. In and out, nice and slow. So we're starting in our first position. And I'm kind of keeping a turned out leg position as I do this. Don't worry about lifting the legs so high that, you know, your chest drops or anything goes on with your spine. Give me 1 more, and then I'm gonna move the chair to the other side so that I can once again use my outside leg. Do what's easiest for you. You don't have to carry chairs everywhere. If you're using like a desktop or table or wall, obviously you can't move those things, so you're gonna have to turn around. All right, we've already done our side bends, so we're gonna do our knee lift. This is about the obliques, but you are gonna feel some hip flexors. Good, reach and pull. Good, give me 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, straight leg kicks. We're gonna do 16 of everything. If you don't trust me to count it, you can count it yourself. 8 more. This is why I had music on, because I just listened to the 32 count. Uh-oh, I lost count anyways. Give me 2 more. All right, in step forward. Every time, every leg lift that we've done so far, you should feel a different muscle. So this one I'm feeling in here. 8 more. My toes are pointed, but because my foot is kind of angled, it might not look extremely pointed. Last 2. And those hip circles. In to out, nice and slow. Oh, I felt that pop. It happens. Oh, repeatedly. Always my left. Anything we do today, doesn't matter which leg you start on, we're always going to do both sides. However, in relation to your chair, you always want it to be the outside leg you're moving. Okay, so whether I'm using my left or right, it's always going to be the outside leg. So for you, you always want to use the outside leg. Okay, going back to the first side. Just going to give this leg a little rest. And we're going to do some plies. I am going to eventually lift this leg, which is why I moved the chair over. Right now, it doesn't make sense that I have the chair on here because we're just doing a plie. A plie, you want to keep that torso vertical, that spine in neutral. And my knees are just bending enough to not shoot past those toes. Everything is tracked in line with each other, those knees and toes. 4, 3, 2, we're going up on the toes, so heel lifts up. You can go 2-inch heels, 3-inch heels, 5-inch heels, your choice. The chair's for balance. If you don't need it, you can take your hands right off those chairs. Four more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. So here, we're going to stand on our inside leg, and it's going to be slightly bent. Mostly because you want to feel the muscles, and also helps with balance. If your leg is locked out, you're putting pressure on the joints without feeling the muscles as much. All right, so once we have that settled, we're going to take this outside leg, going to tap it forward, drag it back. Tap it forward, drag it back. And if you want your arms to be engaged, your shoulder muscles, you can have your arms forward, you can have it out. Good. You're probably not feeling that much here. You can bend a little bit more into the standing leg. Eventually, you are going to feel it in the standing leg. Now reach it to the side. Tap and drag. Tap, drag it in. So I'm kind of bending into my standing leg so I can reach it out further. You don't want to go extremes where you bend it a lot, but you can reach out a little further, and then you're straightening that leg as you drag the foot in. And what happens is this standing leg is pretty much doing a bunch of mini little squats, a lot of single leg squats. So now we're going to do one of each. So it goes forward and side. Forward, side. So this is the on the ground version, right? This foot, the outside foot is on the ground. And now we're going to try it off the ground. So reach forward, out. And I'm going to have you come to the knee. You don't need to go as fast as I do. Focus on quality of movement, technique. I am doing a little bend in the leg, the standing leg every time. Side, forward. You can have your arms up here if you like. If you really want to work on your balance, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to put my hand back. So when you don't put the outside leg down, your hip flexors and quads are, especially the hip flexors, are constantly engaged. And then this standing leg is just kind of a stabilizer. Let's do a couple more on each. And one more on each. All right, did you feel that? Yeah, I mean, if not, let's keep doing more. All right, so we do a lot of repetitions in this class, but again, it's always quality over quantity, okay? Set up here, reach forward. You don't really need to go over all this now that I've set up for you on the other side, but we'll just try to keep our legs even. Reach. So this standing leg is kind of doing the same plie that we did earlier. So it's a single leg plie. Reach and drag. Reach and drag. Yeah, let's take it to the side. I just take my arm with me. Really, I don't have too much arm choreography because I want you to focus on the legs. If your arms are elevated, make sure your shoulders are not. Your shoulder muscles can be engaged without elevating the shoulders. All right, why don't we alternate? So one to the front, drag, side, and drag. So feel free to go at your own pace. You don't want to go too fast and feel like you're, sloppy or anything. You want to feel like you're in control. But if you're going like super slow, I mean, nothing wrong with super slow either. You're definitely going to feel it. So both our legs are working. They're both moving, but the muscles worked are going to be different. Are you ready to lift that leg off the ground? So we're going to lift it forward, bends. When you straighten, you come to the knee. That way the leg stays off the ground, and then straighten. Forward. When I say side, it's more to the corner. So don't worry about it going directly to the side. It's not about kicking the side wall. Arms up is optional. So just keep that in mind too. If you really want to work on your balance, like I need to work on mine. If you are going to take both hands off the chair, I wouldn't look at me. I would look at like a dot on the floor, maybe 4 or 5 feet ahead of you, because that visual gaze on something not moving will help. All right, 2 more on each side, and 1 more on each side. Good, so that was all like hip flexors, quads, front of body thing. So let's do some glute work. Glute work is involving squats or lunges, and we're gonna go into our lunge. So straight back lunge, feet are hip distance apart. This is a fitness lunge, nothing fancy. Let me show you the side view. You wanna be far enough so that both knees are about 90 degrees when that back knee is at ankle height. So you don't wanna be too close. I am gonna give a curtsy option, which is the leg crosses behind, and this back leg is turned out. But for now, let's just do the basic lunge, set this up. So my inside leg is the one in front, because my outside leg is the one that's gonna go back into the curtsy. It's gonna be the moving leg. So our fitness lunge, chest lifted, abs tight. So where you feel the butt work is the front leg butt cheek. You're gonna feel more hamstrings in the back, and you're gonna feel a stretch in the hip flexor and quads. All right, let's try that curtsy lunge. So I'm taking it slightly behind, not a ton, not all the way back here, just slightly behind. And my knees are still in line with each other. My front knee and toes, sorry, I shouldn't say knees aligned with each other. The front knee and toes are aligned with each other, and the back knee and toes are aligned with each other. So your hip has a range of motion. It has internal, external rotation capabilities, which is why you can do curtsy lunges and still have those knees and toes in line with each other. If it doesn't feel comfortable for you though, please do the regular lunges. Do something that works your muscles without causing any sort of pain or strain to your joints. All right, how many lunges are we gonna do? We're gonna add that kick to the corner. So basically that back leg is moving diagonally. It goes behind and then to that corner. And for this, if you like to kick high, use a little momentum, that's fine. You can use a little bit of momentum. Get as high as you like. Option to keep those arms up. Sometimes when the arms are up, it helps remind you to keep your chest up. Okay, we're gonna do 2 pulses in the lunge. Pulse, pulse, and 1 kick. Pulse, pulse, 1 kick. So this is that range of motion I was talking about. Sometimes we do full range of motion, it makes your muscles feel a certain way. And other times we do this partial, right now, partial. So you're sitting and staying low in the squat for a little longer. Let's do 4 more of these. I think that was 4. Gotta count these double pulses as 1 and 1. All right. So your leg muscles, again, are working different ways. Should have been that front leg that's bearing the brunt of the work, not the kicking leg. The kicking leg kind of got a nice little hamstring stretch. So we're lunging on the other side. So now the back leg is the leg that was forward previously. So the muscles works are different. All right, I think we did like 24 lunges. I know, I always do more on the first side because I'm giving so many setup cues. We'll try to get to that same muscle burn on this side as we did on the other side. Repetitions are important. Symmetry is important, don't get me wrong. But what's even more important than numbers is the fatigue you feel. Because if your right side is stronger than your left, and you do 16 on both sides, your right side won't feel anything, your left side will struggle. So in the end, your left side might be getting stronger, but your right side isn't being challenged. So that's why I kind of go by feel. But I really should count. So let's take it back in the curtsy. Adjust yourself a little bit. The curtsy lunge should feel different from the regular lunge. We still want to keep that chest up. We're not directly working our abs, but it doesn't mean we don't want to draw it in nice and tight. I'm going to lift my arms. Probably don't need balance, but your chair is there if you need it. All right, let's do 4 more, and then let's add that kick. Oh man, my hip popped like crazy. This left hip. It's okay if there's a slight bend in the knee, but that kicking leg, your goal is to point the toe, have the leg nice and straight. Just very, very strong kick, strong sweep. Looking good. Make sure you don't kick anything. Hopefully everyone has space in their room. All right, you ready for that pulse? Oops, I didn't do it there. Let's do it here. Pulse, pulse, and kick. Pulse, pulse, and kick. I'll count these. There's 4. So I know when my right leg is forward, it's stronger. Like I'm stronger in my right lunge compared to my left lunge. All right, let's finish up here. Last one. So basically, whenever I do anything with the right leg in front, I just don't feel it as much. Or I have to put on more weight or something. Okay, so we're getting to that point where we're going to transition into arms. So I'm actually going to not use the chair. And we're going to start to bring some arms in with our squats or plie. So I'm going nice and wide to my widest plie. So if this is hip distance, it's about 3 times hip distance. 1, 2, 3. Toes and knees turned out. I actually don't have weights here. I mean, I don't have cans of beans here. So today, I'm gonna do arm work without anything in my hands. But if you have 1 to 3 pound dumbbells, feel free to hold on to them. If you have cans of beans and they weigh about 1 pound, you can hold them. So I'm squatting and lifting my arms to shoulder height. Three, 2, I'm going to go down and hold right here. Now I'm going to circle those arms. We're going to reverse direction later, so don't worry so much. It's really about just keeping the arms elbows slightly bent, circling, small pulses. Now watch my heels here. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Just keep those circles going. I'm going to reverse them a little bit. Yep, keep that chest up. Elbows slightly bent, especially if you got weights in your hands. Now let's reverse the circles. So now I'm going the other direction. I'm keeping the heels going. You got this. If you're in a lot of pain, muscular burning, just smile. Takes away the pain. It doesn't? Oh, I thought it did. All right. Last heel lift right here. Okay. We're going to go into a more narrow squats. So anytime we go into a more narrow squat, it actually, we got to send our butt somewhere. It's going to send back, which means my chest does come forward, but not in a drop fashion. So keep that chest in neutral as much as you can. We're actually going to do something with our arms, so I don't want you to get too comfortable with this. So again, my feet are about shoulder distance apart maybe. So what I want you to do is as you squat back is to take your hand and do what I call a rear fly. So because we're tilted, it doesn't feel like the normal shoulder lift that we just did with the plie. Because I'm tilted, I should feel more in my upper back rear deltoid area. So those shoulder blades, every time I stick my butt back and lift my arms, I'm very much actively squeezing my shoulder blades together. Just trying to get those postural muscles engaged, woken up. So being careful, we're not doing this. We're around the shoulder and then trying to squeeze the shoulder blades. Gonna face forward again. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay down. So stay in the squats, keep those arms up and pulse. Lift, lift, lift. It's just the lift, I'm not circling. And you should feel your shoulder blades slide in and just slide out just a little bit. Now, try not to look up and hyperextend your neck. You can tuck your chin a little bit. Your eye gaze will be on the floor, maybe about 2 to 3 feet ahead of your toes. And this is all about targeting the rear deltoids. This helps us improve our posture. I know, your butt, your legs are still working. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's try a single leg balance. Now you want to be a little bit, it doesn't matter which leg you start with, but you want to have a slight bend in that standing leg. The leg will go back in a little arabesque. Let me show you the side view actually. And then you're going to reach out, palms up. So your lower body, squeezing tight here, stabilizing here. Movement is at the arms. Out, pull those elbows in. So if you're holding dumbbells, you'll feel a little bit in the shoulders and the biceps. It's hard for me to do this and look at the side. This is about balance, so we are intentionally not touching the chair, but that doesn't mean your leg needs to be very high, and you can have a toe down kickstand. So remember I said at the beginning of class, you determine how low you want to squat, how low you want to lunge, how high you want to lift the leg. This is your workout, so you want to do what works for your body. So I'm intentionally not going like parallel to the floor. I'm actually like on a diagonal just to get my shoulders and my biceps. Because if I'm 100% horizontal, it changes what my arms feel. All right, let's change sides. Set it up. Little arabesque. Don't kick your chair. Same thing with the arms. Yeah, we're not changing the arms. This is the upper body portion, so it is about the upper body. I'm just including some lower body You can totally stand and do this, all right? Some, what do you call this? Compound exercises using multiple muscle groups at the same time. All right, every time I look at you guys, I lose my balance. So I'm just gonna give up. And that's funny. Guys, there's no shame in losing your balance. I lose it all the time. And I just play it off. I'm like, oh yeah, I was walking over here. Okay, shake those legs out. Okay, so more arms. So let's leave our legs out of it. Let's give our legs a little break. Up and forward. So reach overhead. So if you have dumbbells, they would kind of converge a little bit. Converge, put the lid on the putts. So basically rotation and a press. Rotation, press. When I rotate, notice my fists don't come below my elbows or my shoulders. And the reason for that is just for safety. Good, when you're standing, you can have slightly bent knees, soft knees, tight abs, drawn in for support. Basically, if our abs aren't tight, we'll have a tendency to do this. We have a tendency to settle into the hips. So that's why we want to squeeze all right here. Okay, I'm gonna have you do some pulsing. So right here. So this is not shrugging, by the way. I'm slightly lowering the elbows and lifting it back up. Imagine there's like a big balloon right here and you're trying to pop it. Ugh. But you can't pop it because you're afraid to pop it. So you just kind of gently squeeze that balloon that's underneath your armpit. Yeah, I just made that analogy up because I can't think of anything else. But you want to feel it in your shoulders and not your neck. This is a neck exercise, right? When we start to shrug our shoulders. Yeah, I know your shoulders are feeling it. If you have weight, you're definitely feeling it. In 4, 3, we're not done yet. Back to here, in, out, Just the shoulder heights. Shoulder width. You don't need to touch your arms, your forearms, in, out. Now I want you to think about not just the in, but also the out. So when you come in, yes, there's contraction here, but when you're going back, you're gonna squeeze the shoulder blades. So you're actually contracting forward here, and then contracting with these muscles to pull it back. All right, versus like contract, passively go back, contract, passively. There's contraction in both directions. Good, same thing, but bring those fists down. So forward, it's just like when you do a push-up. We're gonna do push-ups soon. So forward, when you go forward, it's a little bit, but back. And by the way, in Zumba, that's what this is all about. Just kidding. I mean, kidding, but not kidding. So when we do this in like dance, we actually use our entire torso, like crunch, and then pull, crunch, stretch. But right now, we're just focusing on the shoulder blades. So I do want you to keep that midsection tight, but it's the same principle. You pull, punch, pull, punch. You feel your shoulder blades squeeze together. You feel your shoulder blades separate. And while all this is working, so if I open up my palms and push like this, this is our push-up motion. Push, contract, pull. It never feels like a pull when we're doing push-ups though. Okay, let's take it down there. Oh wait, no, not ready. I just want to move this chair though. We're doing triceps. Gotta do those triceps. So we're here, like we're skiing. Grab those ski poles. No, we actually don't want to swing our whole arms. We want to lift it and then just keep it here. So for now, if you have dumbbells, whether or not you have dumbbells, palms in. Palms in. We're back in our squat position so we can have our torso slightly forward. Notice my elbows are still in space. They're about shoulder height and they stay there. Now, I would like you to turn your palms so it's behind you. So it's like you're high-fiving the ceiling. The ceiling's up there. High five. It feels a little different when, and if you're holding dumbbells, your palms are still up too. Yeah, you can totally do this with dumbbells. So it should feel a little different to the triceps based on the orientation. We have one more orientation. So when you do tricep, try not to swing your elbows all the way to your, or try not to bend your elbows excessively because you end up kind of just stretching the muscle. So it's contract, release, not contract, stretch. Contract, release. Anyways, the last version is palms forward. This is always going to feel a little strange, but this is a normal rotation too. Now try not to move your wrist. It's not about the wrist. It's about the elbows straightening, bending, straightening, bending. Nice, nice. Good alignment. If you don't feel in your triceps, check if your elbows start to drop. Check if you're swinging your whole arm. Usually those are the two reasons that your triceps don't feel it. Okay, now that our triceps are fatigued, we're going to do push-ups. So you're going to hate me because push-ups involve your chest muscles and your triceps. But, you know, we got to do it all. I'm going to have my hands wider than my yoga mats. And as Kim pointed out, it's not this wide. We go this wide. Now, if you want to do push-ups kneeling, that's perfectly fine. I want you to pick a position that allows your elbows to bend to 90 degrees. Okay? So my chest is aiming toward this line that connects my fingers. So if I do push-ups on my knees, like this, where my butt is down, I still want to be able to bend to 90 degrees. Now, if I'm doing push-ups on my toes and I can only bend a couple inches like this, I'm not really getting the benefit of the push-up. So I want you to pick the knees for now to get that full range as you build up strength in the proper range of motion so that by the time you progress to the toes, you're doing it in full range the whole time. All right, how many have you guys done? Let's do 8 together. Inhale, exhale. Any push-up variation you want. Bend those elbows to 90 degrees. Squeeze those abs, squeeze those butts. Last 2. Last 1. Good. Check it out. Tricep push-ups. And I swear after this we're going to do abs. 5 minutes and that's it. So tricep push-ups, I like to do it on my knees because it really allows me to bend my elbows to about 90 degrees, the proper depth. Elbows don't go out, they go back, and hands are exactly shoulder distance apart. My chest is still aiming for between my hands, which means my head is going slightly ahead of my fingertips. So if I try doing tricep push-ups on my toes, I can't bend as far, so I'm not working my triceps as effectively. So again, find the body position that allows you to feel the correct muscle. In this case, it's the tricep. Let's do 2 more. Tricep push-ups should feel different from chest. Okay, plank. Push-ups ultimately are a moving plank, but not if we're kneeling. Reach those heels back, shoulders over the elbows. Now we're in a plank. Hips at shoulder height. Taking 4 deep breaths, inhale. So we're transitioning to our abs portion, the last little bit. I'm drawing from Pilates. So a lot of the ab exercises you see are similar to what you would see in a Pilates class. I just don't do as much in this class because I want to focus more on the bar stuff, the stuff that's different from Pilates. Okay, dust balls on my yoga mats. Ugh. All right, on your back, spine imprinted, legs to tabletop, tap it out. As one leg goes up, the other leg goes down. And you want to be very still and stable, waist and above. I'm stopping with my knees right over my hips. I'm not pulling it all the way in. So if you pull your knees in toward your chest, you won't feel your abs as much. If you're also doing this, where you just bend your knees, you're not going to feel your abs either. You actually want to move those hips. See how this thigh goes from vertical to 45 degrees? That's the hip action that you want. So press those hands into the floor. We're going to no longer touch the floor, because every time we touch the floor, we kind of rest that foot. So now just get really close to the floor without touching it. And then start to cycle your legs. You still want to stay imprinted. You can cycle higher. If you feel any strain in the lower back, you can cycle low. Nobody really cycles like this, but you get what I'm saying. Extreme cycling. Now, if you want, you can lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Work your abs a little bit more. I'm reaching with my fingers. Now I'd like you to ride your bicycle backwards. So basically you're going down and then leg goes up, down, up. So cycling backwards is a little more challenging for your abs. Keep your chin tucked if your head, neck, and shoulders are up. Eye gaze on your knees. You want to think length, reach, reach. I'm reaching with my arms. My abs are drawn in tight. Good. And let's stretch. But we're still doing abs. Stretch the hamstrings. Isn't this great? We're stretching and doing abs at the same time. Now this is scissors. So this is ab work. It's okay if your legs are slightly bent. Add a pulse. So pulse, pulse. So it's like I go split, split further. Split, split further. Split, split further. Split, split further. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Are we doing okay? It's 12:45, so I should probably stretch a little bit. Are we good? I don't even see anybody. Oh, okay, I see Kim. Everyone is off camera. All right. Let's just do a little stretch here. Definitely want to get to the quads. The idea behind bar is that your abs are engaged throughout, whether you're standing vertically or horizontally while you're doing arms, legs, anything. And the other idea behind bar and Pilates is that as you're strengthening muscle groups on one side of your body, you're stretching the other side. So anytime you contract the quads and kick your legs up, your hamstrings are being stretched. Yeah, I'm going to do a forward fold. So diving forward, hamstring stretch.
grab your calves, gently bend those elbows, which kind of pulls you more towards your thighs. If you're looking at your kneecaps, that means your head and neck is nice and relaxed. If you're looking at your toes, that means you're engaging your neck. Relax your head. Look at your knees. Good, slowly roll up. Inner thigh stretch. So listen to your body. This might be a good stretch. Maybe you want to go all the way down to here. This doesn't work for everyone's knees though, so be mindful of that. And we'll take it to the other side. Good, triceps and obliques. So this is triceps, and then when I lean, obliques. And switch. Open up that chest. And then start to cycle it into shoulders. And that's going to conclude our bar class. If you need to go back to work, hopefully not too sweaty. Thank you guys for joining me on your lunch break.